welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Zizile Mdakane, for those of you who do not know. If you're a first time subscriber here, welcome king, welcome queen, hello darling. And if you are a loyal subscriber, thank you so much for being with me up until today. We are on our way to 1,000 subscribers. That is the aim, and be sure to share, to subscribe if it is your first time here. If you haven't, let's just pause the video right there and do the right thing and subscribe. Remember to like the video, and yeah, let's grow, let's be comfortable, let's get real, let's grow, and let's inspire each other to the best of who we can potentially be in this channel. I am so grateful for the views in my previous vlogs. Thank you so much. The last vlog was obviously just a Sunday reset vlog. I felt like, okay, let's take a break from the sit downs, and today I am back. It is a new week, so I'm back with a new video. And I have gotten to a point within my channel where I would want it to take a different direction, and I'm loving the direction that I am going. So I'm just taking you guys on a journey that I am currently on, which is my feminine journey, as you've probably noticed or picked up within my previous vlogs. With that being said, one might think that, what is she on about? Why is this feminine journey, or why is femininity such a big deal now? Let me tell you, child, it is a big deal now because I've realized that a lot has happened in my life that has deprived me of actually tapping into my femininity. And when I take a look back, which brings me to my topic for today, which is healing the wounded feminine energy. Right? Obviously, with that being said, there are things that happen to us when we grow up as young females. There are things that happen to us when we grow up as young girls in high school, family, relationships, etc. Yeah, and friendships. So obviously, I grew up in a very Christian home, a loving home with sisters. I'm the last born. Lots of females at home and one elderly brother. You guys will excuse me for wearing my glasses. My eyes are very, very sensitive to light today, so I had no choice but to wear them. So if you see the ring light on my eyes, please forgive me, child. Please forgive me. But yeah, going back to what I was saying. So growing up in a household like that where everything was perfect, and then one day you wake up, mom and dad have separated. Which means that daddy is no longer present at home. It created a rippling effect throughout my life. I cannot express the importance of a father figure in a female's life, in a young girl's life, especially at the point when they are still within their childhood state, between the ages of maybe, let's say, 6 to 13, 16 roughly. Yes, that's the most crucial part that a father has for making an impact to their daughter. And I want to express this so much, if there are males watching here, that maybe not to just focus on females only, but also I think within just the growing stage of any child, those ages are very, very critical. So the absence of a father not being there really creates a lot of void. It creates a void, because that's the absence of a figure that stands for provision, that stands for protection, that stands for love, unconditional love. And especially being a female, if you take it back, like in the Bible, the female was created out of the male's body. She was the rib, etc. You'll find the story in Genesis. So if you look at that, you can just tell the link between the female and the male. Now obviously that's in a different context, but my point here is that that's how close or how closely aligned the female is to a male. Now in that situation, for me, it created such a rippling effect because growing up, there was a huge void. There was a gap. There was no figure that could play that role. I thank God for my brother now, obviously, who really, really has done his best, still doing his best to really step in and be that for me, and bless his soul for that. So I look at how wounded I became, and the sad thing is that you only realize this after years of trauma, years of disappointment, failed friendships, failed relationships more than anything, because you're growing up as this female, trying to fill this void of this male figure that will love you, that will provide for you, that will, protect you, and up until you have, if you've ever experienced the love of a father that way, or the presence of a father in that sense, I believe that it's so much easier for you to know what that feels like when you're with a man like that. Now, it becomes difficult when you have not had that and you are constantly looking for it in a man, right? And that's how deeply my wound went, Obviously, if that's how I was feeling at the time, it also created that point of losing my identity, because I'm constantly trying to figure out, why does he not love me? Why does, why don't they have this protective, I'm trying to define this protective, or feeling that I'm supposed to get, but there's no reference. There's no reference at all. So you can only imagine the kind of toxicity that I placed myself in, the kind of things that I allowed myself to go through in the name of filling that void. Now, it took for me being in my early 20s where I realized that something's got to stop. Something is really, really not adding up. Something is not right. I cannot be going through this. So obviously, over the years, we would try to, bond with dad, and unfortunately, I lost him 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 3 years ago. So you can only imagine mourning him again, but this time there's nothing I can do about it. Guys, if I get emotional, you'll forgive me, but you can only imagine the hurt that it happened. And to make it worse, I lost him over COVID. That's the worst type of way you can ever lose anyone you love, through COVID, because you have no sense of bonding with them before they die. But yet again, it was before he died, I believe that I got into a stage where I was now feeling kind of okay, but again, I didn't know what okay felt like, because I was still stuck in a toxic relationship at the time, but it made sense, because as far as what a man should do, that man was doing that, so that's when I then realized in my early 20s that, okay, fine. And then this is the identity, this is the idea, or the definition that I have of a man being this protector, this provider, this lover, etc., etc. And I clung on to that person so deeply to a point where I literally lost myself. When you have not had that presence in your life and you're constantly trying to find it, you get to a point where even your identity gets confused. You just lose yourself, and it really needed for me to just pull the brakes on everything, just step back and say, self, you're not okay. You are not okay. What went wrong? Why are you allowing yourself to, why are you subjecting yourself to such? But like I said, that was the only reference, that was the only idea that was so close to what I knew a man could obviously should like be, So as much as we obviously tried to rekindle the relationship, and there would be times where we'd meet up and we'd get to know each other, or we'd bond or whatever, it would never amount to him constantly being there as a figure in my life, right? So that went on, then he passed on, and it was a whole nother process all over again. It's like going back to square one. Because at least when he was alive, you could see how he was doing things. You could see how, he treated me. Like, even though it was just for those few seconds, but there was some point of reference now when the relationship started, coming together, or started, when we started being close. But now when he's gone, there's nothing to track, to point out and say, okay, so this is what my father does. This is, you know what I mean? So my femininity got distorted at a very, very, very young age. Very, very, very young age. And I want to believe that some of the women that have never really given themselves a chance or time out, I want to believe that it's one of those things that actually caused them to be like that. But now when we talk about healing that wound, it needed for me to actually be real with myself and ask myself, what exactly is the problem? Okay, so you did not grow with your father. You didn't grow up with your father being around. Is this the kind of men that you want for yourself? Is this the kind of life that you want for yourself? Does this really make you happy? If fulfilling, or if filling this void within you is such a big deal, why don't you just fill it yourself? Now, when I started adopting that mentality, there was nothing no one or anyone could say to me. Nothing anyone could say to me, because I was a woman with a male mind. I did things myself. I took care of myself. I made sure that whatever I needed, I provided. Relationships that didn't make sense, it's been, even today, because of that experience and because of everything that I've gone through, it's been so easy to walk away. I think that's one thing that I can be grateful for, because I know my worth now because I took that time. But also I can only say that now. Back then I couldn't say this. And now the problem was, in that time, was that it was so toxic for me. No woman should go through that. No woman should. I'm not saying be lazy. I'm not saying be entitled. I'm not saying that, but no woman should want to do everything for themselves. Please be open-minded about what I'm saying. Be open-minded about what I'm saying. If you are this beautiful flower, are you really going to decide that, okay, I'm leaving my roots now from this sand or this grass or whatever, or I'm leaving my roots now, I'm gonna go fetch water, and then I'm gonna put myself back into the ground, and then I'm gonna water myself again. When are you gonna bloom? When are you gonna bloom? When are you gonna be this beautiful flower? When you are not allowing your roots to, absorb all the soil, all the nutrients of the soil, and flow into you, so that you can bloom and be this beautiful flower. I love lilies, so I see myself as a lily, okay? So that you can be this beautiful flower, this beautiful lily. And I really looked at myself as like, this is not what I want for myself. This is really not what I'm at. And I needed to heal that wound so that I can give back to myself, so that I can take myself seriously. because I was so caught up into being everything that I needed to be for me, I went over and above for friendships that didn't give back to me. I went over and above for jobs that don't recognize me, that don't recognize my potential. I went over and above for partners. I went over and above for everything and everybody else except for me. And obviously it got to a breaking point where I went into deep depression, and I felt like this is it. This is it. Those who know me know. Perhaps it's a story for another day about my depression, my journey and depression. But I was exhausted. I was depleted. And upon recovering, recovering, my whole recovery process was me still fighting being a weak woman, because I felt that being feminine was being weak, and allowing help was being weak. Asking for help or asking for certain things was being weak. I developed that mentality a long time ago. To make matters better or worse, when my father left, obviously my mom had to man the fort, and she held it down. And I love her for that, because I am the strong woman I am today because of her. But I needed to tell myself that I'm not my mother. I'm Zizile, and this is who I am, and I need to become the best version of me for my children, for myself, for my husband one day, for my friends, for my sisters, for my brother, for the church, for everyone and everything, for you get. And I really took that all in, and I said, okay, I'm fighting this, but I don't need to. The more I kept fighting, the more the process, the healing and the recovery process needed for me to let go. But the more I was trying to let go, the more I kept fighting, There's this term that I like to say, rest, rest. Just rest again, rest. And one day a friend of mine said that. I said, I know, rest again, rest, take it easy. When she said that, I really understood what that meant. Sometimes it takes other people to tell you certain things so that you can wake up, so that you can be aware that you need to heal. You are not operating in your feminine energy. You are too masculine for your own good. And when I was too masculine, I didn't give my partners any time of day. I was aggressive. I as much as I was respectful, but you were not gonna tell me nothing, Excuse me, my arguments were always escalated because I needed to have the final say. You're not gonna do that. Today, I think post recovering, identifying all of that, I have no hunger at all in me no appetite, nothing in me to take part in any arguments, because I can simply say that I've healed that part of me. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but when we talk about healing wounded feminine energy, it's looking at your inner child, your childhood traumas. It's looking at your development stages. It's looking at everything that you've gone through that has shifted you from operating within your femininity, your softness, your happiness, your joy, everything that has happened up until now you look into that and you tackle it one by one and you heal from it. Because once you heal from it, you become such a better person. You glow, and people think you got a man. Got to know, child. You're just doing a whole lot of self-love, a whole lot of self-care. You don't care. You don't participate in drama. You don't have time for men who do not know what they want, because you've taken time for yourself and you know exactly what it is you bring to the table. In fact, you are the table. It's one of those things that are not just you know, focused on women only. As much as we can use feminine energy, but feminine energy also does apply on males, because the XY chromosome, these terms have just developed and developed and developed, so it's one of those things that everybody has them, but obviously your genetic makeup makes you who you are as far as your gender, because of, you know what I mean. So just because you are a male does not mean that you do not have feminine energy, I believe what I'm saying is penetrating even to males, is even, reaching parts of everyone that's hopefully listening to this, and really taking it in to actually identify that part of them that was so soft, that was so loving, that was so easy, and allowing themselves to actually just, heal from everything. I don't want to lie to you. It's not weakness, but it's you finding your own strength. And I always say, take every emotion as it comes. It's not going to be easy when you're healing your feminine energy. It's never going to be easy, because it means confronting a whole lot of things. It's like looking into the mirror, and seeing a side of you or parts of you that you don't like, but you gotta fix it, baby. You gotta fix it. So yeah, I think these things affect your confidence. These things affect your how you see yourself and everything. I think in my next video I will talk about discovering your confidence, or discovering your feminine energy and things like that. But over and above, I think it's just high time, as it is very early in the year when I recorded this video, obviously, to actually just reflect and do yourself a favor and just heal that wound of yours, whether you want to call it the inner child or your feminine energy. If you're a female, we are calling it your feminine energy. Heal your wounded feminine energy. You'll do yourself a great favor, and you'll do the people around you a greater favor. So to wrap this video up, thank you so much, honeys, for watching, and I hope that you really do take this into consideration, and that this helps you heal. Take as long as you want. The process is beautiful, and the results are even better. So like the video and share. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.